Good afternoon. Kindly ensure me that my slides are visible to you and my audio is clear. Hello, everybody. Yeah, good afternoon. Is the voice clear and my slides are okay visible to you, everybody? Okay then. Uh, so we will try to provide you some introduction about Bode plot in this particular lecture. So at the end of the lecture, you will be knowing the uh, what is Bode plot. Okay. Number two, the steps involved in uh, plotting the magnitude and phase plot. Okay, and third one is uh, the gain and phase margin calculations. So three important discussions will be there, and after this lecture we will start solving a few problems, uh, trying to plot about a for the given transfer function. So three main points will be satisfied after this lecture. I hope so. If you are following my words, and consequently you are asking your subsequently you are asking your doubts. So, what is a Bode plot and how the factors involved in a transfer function? How to write a magnitude equation and the phase equation, and how we can combine these two and draw a Bode plot for a given transfer function, and finding out the frequency domain specifications like gain margin, phase margin, and also you will be interested in knowing phase crossover frequency and gain crossover frequency. Okay, the crossover frequencies, and thereby commenting on stability. Okay, we will try to cover all these things. Okay, so this is the idea of this lecture. So, if you say what is a Bode plot, if you ask me, it's a type of graphical method which is available to plot a frequency response for a given sinusoidal transfer function. It has two graphs. One is magnitude graph and the other one is phase graph. Okay, so Bode plot, we have two graphs, two plots. One is magnitude and the other one is phase. In our polar plot, we have combined both these magnitude and phase, and we have subsequently pointed the values accordingly, and we have plotted. Then we have concluded with our stability of the given closed loop system from the open loop transfer function. Right here, Bode plot is also another method to calculate the frequency domain specifications and commenting about the stability of the system, and it has two plots inside it. In a single graph sheet, you have to draw two plots. One is the magnitude response and the other one is phase response. And it will be drawn in a semi-log graph sheet, a semi-log graph sheet. So kindly have a semi-log graph sheet when you come to the class in the next class, okay, next lecture. So semi-log graph sheet, okay, so semi-log graph sheet, the axis for magnitude, if you say, it is between omega versus particularly it is log omega versus magnitude in decibels. Okay, and because it is a logarithmic, semi-logarithmic, the omega will be logarithmic, and the magnitude and the phase y-axis will be uh, uh, probably all these y-axis will be in linear graph. Okay, So if a partially it is semi-log, we call that the only we call this as partially logarithmic, so we call it a semi-log graph sheet. So logarithmic omega versus magnitude in decibels always, and in phase plot you will have logarithmic omega versus phase in degrees. So we will have two plots. The magnitude plot will be between log omega and a magnitude in decibels, and the second one is between the same log omega and your phase in degrees. Okay, that is what these it is in a single graph sheet. It will be in a single graph sheet. Okay, and the graph sheet is a semi-log graph sheet. Okay, so as usual, writing out the magnitude terms and the phase terms from the given transfer function is similar to that of your polar plot, but every term, okay, here, okay, it will be categorized in terms of the given the factors, type of the factors, and what type of factor you have. We will discuss about different factors later, next slide, next consequence, subsequent slides. So if you have a transfer function like this, first verify whether it is in time constant form. Whether it is in time constant form, yes, it is in the form of 1 plus st. So probably it is in time constant form. Then my next work is converting this g of s. This g of s is converted into g of j omega by substituting s is equal to j omega, and that is what you called as, it's a sinusoidal transfer function. So it is Bode plot is the frequency response of a sinusoidal transfer function of a system. Very simply we can deal, and it has two plots inside it. One is magnitude and the other one is phase. Magnitude plot is between logarithmic omega and the magnitude in decibels, and the phase plot will be there between logarithmic omega and the phase angle in degrees. So as usual, we have both magnitude terms and phase terms. You can see that for every factor. For example, if you take constant k represented with the magnitude k angle 0, and 1 plus st1 magnitude is 1 plus omega square t1 square the whole square root, and angle is tan inverse of omega t1. These and all we already know that, right? So this is your magnitude term, and this one is your angle term. Every magnitude equation and angle equation, you know how to write it. If you have a doubt, please ask me right now. If you have a doubt, please ask me right now. So if we try to understand, this is j omega. J omega magnitude is going to be omega, and the angle is tan inverse of omega by infinity. Omega by infinity is omega by 0. Omega by 0 is infinite. So tan inverse of infinity will be 90 degrees. So you can see that the magnitude is omega and the angle is 90. This is in the denominator part. If I take it to the numerator, omega is 1 by omega and 90 becomes minus 90. That is why you have a minus 90 here. And you have a tan inverse of omega t by omega into t2. If you take it to numerator and form it as a complete equation like this, which is in the bottom part of this slide, you can see that this tan inverse, if it goes upwards, it becomes to the numerator part. It becomes minus tan inverse of omega into t2. And again, tan inverse of omega t3 also becomes minus tan inverse of omega t3, and tan inverse of omega t1 remains as it is. So getting the equation, if you have a doubt, please ask me. I will try to clear that right now. Everybody in the class, if you are provided with the transfer function, writing out the magnitude terms and the angle terms, if you have a doubt, please ask me. Anybody? Any doubts so far? Then Hello? No doubt. Fine. So every term has to be considered separately and its equivalent magnitude in decibels has to be found. To get the magnitude in decibels, you are supposed to multiply that with a logarithmic 20 log of value. Okay, and and this 20 log, okay, this logarithmic value depends upon what type of factor you have. Whether the factor is having alone a magnitude alone, whether it is having any phase angle, whether it is a first order term in the numerator, whether it is a second order term in the denominator, whether it is a quadratic function, because you may have a transfer function like that 1 by s squared plus 4s plus 5. You may have a transfer function like this, or you may have a transfer function s plus 1 by s plus 1 divided by s squared plus 4s plus 5. Then you have a first order transfer function, first order factor in the numerator and a second order quadratic factor in the denominator. So every factor has a different approach. Okay, so the magnitude value for that has to be found basically, and with some procedure involved in it, and we will see what is the procedure, how to convert that into a factor. A factor magnitude is converted into a decibel value. So the basic factors that were available normally in general, okay, in general, it may be a constant gain. It may be an integral factor. Integral is 1 by s. 1 by s is nothing but if you substitute k is equal to j omega, you will get k by j omega. And this integral may be of any order. It may be first order or higher order. So I can represent that integral factor as k by j omega, the whole power n. The n may vary from 1 to infinite, whatever it is. Probably the 10 should be a finite number. It should not go to infinite. That is okay. That is okay. You know that. And derivative factor, if the term is available, the same j omega term is available there in the numerator. That is, if you have a s term in the numerator, like if you have a transfer function s divided by s plus 2 into s plus 5, and this s is called as a derivative factor. Because if you replace, you will have a j omega, or if you have a j s squared, you will have j omega the whole square divided by, if you normally convert that into a time constant form, so 10 will be there, and you will have 1 plus 0.5 j omega, 1 plus 0.2 j omega. So this is a first order factor in the denominator like this. So derivative factors, integral factor, first order factor in the denominator or its higher order, and first order factor in the numerator or its higher order. You may have a factor in the denominator, a quadratic factor, which is of the form s squared plus like as squared plus bs plus c, something like that. So this is a quadratic term. This may be in the numerator or the denominator also, as I said. So these factors are available generally, and we categorize these. These will be the factors which will be there in the transfer function. If I take a transfer function, I may have either of these factors combinedly. Okay, it may be a gain alone, or it gain with an integral factor, or a derivative factor. So these are the basic factors available. So if every factor has to be found for its magnitude decibel value in decibel, and the phase angle in degrees. Phase angle, you can straight away use the polar method. What you have done, you can take that equation of polar. You can take the equation of the degrees. What is that phase angle? Then you vary your omega and try to put it. So what is the plot? The plot is between logarithmic omega and your magnitude and degree. This to what you normally do, you vary your omega value from 0 to infinity. You vary your omega value from 0 to infinity. Then you try to plot it. Okay, for every omega value, you may get a point with respect to the magnitude and the phase angle. So that is how you have to do. So we will go step by step. So if you have a constant gain k, then the magnitude is going to be k and the phase angle is 0. And the k may be positive or negative. So what we will do, if k is greater than 1 and if you want to convert this k, that is the magnitude, into its decibel value, then you have to use 20 log of k. This is the formula. You have to use 20 log of k. For example, if I am having 5 by s plus 2 into 2s plus 5, then this 5 is nothing but a constant factor, and that 5 is going to be 5 alone. And to get a decibel value, you have to go for 20 log of 5. Got the point? And if k is greater than 1, then your 20 log k will be positive. You will get a straight line for that. If you draw between logarithmic omega for different values of omega, this is not going to change. Why? Because this is not a dependent of omega. You can see that it is not having any omega term inside it. It is only having 20 log of k. That's it. So the value is not going to change. The value is not going to change. But it may be located either in the positive magnitude value or the negative magnitude value. So if k is greater than 1, then it is going to be 20 log of k, which is positive. And if the k lies between 0 to 1, it is varying from 20 log k will be negative. And if exactly you know that 20, if k is equal to 1, you will get 20 log of 1. Log 1 is going to be 0. So 20 log k will be 0. It will be exactly on the same. You doesn't have a phase angle because it is not having any omega term there inside it. So your phase angle is also 0 degree. So it is also constant. Are you getting a point? So if you have a constant gain value, then the magnitude varies depend upon the k, whether it is positive or k greater than 1 or between lies between 0 to 1 or it is equal to 1. These three cases. Accordingly, your plot will be lying there. Okay, if one of your factor is a constant gain, this is how you have to calculate your magnitude and phase, right? The same way, if you have an integral factor like k by s, okay, k by s, then s is equal to j omega, you will k by j omega. So the value of magnitude is k by omega. This is your magnitude, and your angle, phase angle is minus 90 because your j omega is in the denominator. It will be omega 90 and the 90 goes to the numerator, so minus 90. So to get the magnitude value in decibels, what you normally do, you take this k by omega and you put 20 log of k by omega, and angle is going to be minus 90 degree because it is not going to change with respect to omega value. So you can see that the angle is minus 90. It is continuously there in minus 90 degrees. For whatever the value of omega you choose, it is going to be there. But okay, but magnitude is going to be the factor of omega because omega is there. If you put different values of omega from 0 to infinity, then you will have a negative slope according to this given equation. If omega is equal to some 0.1, 1 by 10, so 20 log of that value will give you different value. Okay, you will have a negative slope like this. You will have a negative slope. Goes on. Any doubts here at this point? If you put omega different values, you will get different points, and if you plot it, you will probably get this negative slope, minus 20 decibels. Any doubts? Right. So if your integral is a power of different integer, for example, you may have a transfer function like k by s power 3. You may have a transfer function like that. So for s, if it is there, then to find a slope, you have to multiply that with the power. So if it is s cube, then it is going to be 60 log of k by omega. because 20 is for omega. If it is omega cube, then 20 into 3. So 60 log of k by omega will be the magnitude value. And the same way, your angle minus 90 will be multiplied with the power. So you will have minus 270, which is equal to 90 degrees. That is also possible. You can see that here you have a value k by s power n, and j omega power n is coming out. So k omega power n and minus 90 into n. So if your value is 2, then it is going to be omega squared, and this is going to be minus 90 into 2. So any doubts according to these two factors? One is constant gain and the other one is integral, or if you have a multiple of n integrals. Any doubts here? Right. So another factor, you may have a derivative factor. Derivative factor is your transfer function has an s term in your numerator part. In the previous case, we saw it like k by s. The s is in the denominator, but here in the numerator you will have an s there, k into s. In that, it is going to be k omega is the magnitude. Okay, and the angle is, since omega is in the numerator, the angle is going to be 90 degree. Again, if it is k s power m, then it is going to be 20 into m into log of k omega. Why? Because if you substitute 20 log of k omega the whole cube, this 3 comes, okay, maybe 3 m, it becomes 20 into m into log of k omega. So, okay, so you will get this, right? And angle also you will get 90 into m, 90 into m. Okay, so this is how it is going to change, and you will get a positive slope. You will get a positive slope, plus 20 or plus 40 or plus 60. It depends upon the power value. Okay, you can see that here also. You can see that here, s power n. So you have omega n. So you have omega n, which will 20 into n. Okay, and you have 90 into n also. So this is a derivative factor with higher multiplicity of n. Same way, if you have a first order factor like this, what you normally do? This is your magnitude and this is your phase angle. Because it is the denominator, you take it like tan inverse of omega t will be there in the denominator. If you take to the numerator, you will have minus tan inverse of omega t. Now to convert that into decibels, you multiply that with 20 log. Since it is a denominator, you will get it like 20 log of this term, 20 log of 1. Okay, because it is logarithmic now, 20 log of 1 by square root of 1 plus omega square t squared. How do you write it? You write it like 20 log of 1 minus 20 log of square root of 1 plus omega square t squared. And 20 log 1 is going to be 0, so this is going to be 0. You will get minus 20 log of square root of 1 plus omega square t squared. At a very low frequency, if omega t is very, very less than 1, very much less than 1, then you will get it like this, a will be 0. If it is very much greater than 1, then you get it like minus 20 log of omega t. Based on that omega value and t value, you will have different factors there. And if it is of higher power, then again you will go for a multiplication of that power. 20 into m or 20 into n will be there. Same way, okay, if you have a angular value, then it is going to be m into tan inverse of omega t. You can see that if it is of higher power, then you multiply that with that 20 value, then you will get it like, you can see that for a for a first order general factor, your plot will be exactly looking like this. This is your approximate magnitude plot and this is your approximate phase plot. And if the power increases, then okay, there is a sharp bend. You can see that the cutoff frequency like that. At the corner frequency, you'll have a sharp bend depending upon the type of slope between adjacent factors and the corner frequencies. And you can see that the phase angle is also having a sharp change. So this is for a first order factor in the denominator. The same way, you can think about a factor in the numerator also. If you have a first order factor in the numerator, then obviously you can see that 1 plus st is the factor. So your magnitude is this and phase angle is tan inverse of this. So to convert that, you normally put it like 20 log of that factor. And if it is of higher value, then you put m into 20 log of that. And if you see the angle, it is going to be tan inverse of omega t. No change is there, tan inverse of omega t. If it is of higher power, like this, then it is going to be m into tan inverse of omega t. And you can see that you will get a positive slope. And the, okay, there is a sharp edges, okay, sharp cuts maybe, and if the power is much more higher, okay. So this is for a first order factor in the numerator. If you have a quadratic factor like this, 1 plus 2 zeta s plus omega n. If you have a second order transfer function like that, then convert that into a time constant form of the form. What is that? As squared plus bs plus 1 normally. Okay. So convert that into this form. That last constant term should be 1. In order to, okay, to make it simple, what will you do? You will divide it by omega n squared. So automatically this particular term becomes s squared by omega n squared plus 2 zeta omega n by omega n squared into s plus omega n squared by omega n squared. So the last term becomes 1 like this. So obviously you will get it like this is your imaginary term and this is your real term. If you substitute s is equal to j omega, then it has a real term and it has an imaginary term. Based on that, you try to follow a magnitude plot and the phase angle, a magnitude equation and a phase angle, a magnitude term and a phase term. And if the order increases, then obviously it is going to have a variation in the factor type also, right? So this is what happens. And if you see that it not only the value dependent of omega, it is also a dependent of zeta. If you vary your zeta, your magnitude plot is going to have a different shape, as well as your phase plot is also have a considerable change in the shape if you vary your zeta also. So you have two factors here considered. You may have it like you can keep zeta constant and you can vary your omega. Normally that is what done. And if you see how your system acts when zeta is changing, can also be monitored like this. The same way, this is in the denominator. Now you can see that this term is the denominator term. If you see such a term is there in the numerator, possibilities are there. So if we have a term like this in the numerator, okay, it's as simple as that. What we normally do in the previous case can be followed here also. Convert this particular term into as squared plus bs plus 1. So these are the factors, different factors, and if you see that plot for magnitude and phase, you can see that it is in the opposite direction because numerator part will have a positive slope and the positive slope might have a change depending upon the zeta values, and phase plot also like that. So these are the factors. Any particular doubts there? So we have 6 different factors available. What are they? A constant value, an integrator or a multiple integrator, a derivative or a multiple derivative may be there. First order in the denominator, first order in the numerator, or multiple terms of first order in the denominator and numerator. Quadratic function or quadratic equation or quadratic factor, the term in the denominator and in the numerator. So these are the factors which is available in a transfer function, and according to the availability of the factors, you are supposed to utilize these magnitude and phase equations and you try to draw the Bode plot, right? Just a minute. Okay. Now it is visible clearly. Hello. Is that visible now? The slides are clearly visible. There was a small uh, shake there. Probably I have exhausted my daily usage, and the subsequent plan has been automatically, okay, it has taken to the next plan, right? So these are the factors involved in a transfer function, and according to the factors you may choose your magnitude value and the phase value. So the next few minutes we will be dealing with the steps involved. Okay, the steps involved in plotting a magnitude plot and a phase plot. First we will see that let us say this is your first work is your step one. If you are given with a transfer function, first try to see whether the transfer function is in time constant form. The first step. Second thing, convert that into a sinusoidal transfer function by substituting s is equal to j omega. Now you can identify different terms available. You can see that you have an integral term, you have a constant term, you have a first order factor in the numerator, you have a first order factor in the denominator, you have a quadratic factor also for the given transfer function. Okay, so you substitute s is equal to j omega, convert that into a sinusoidal transfer function, then try to find the corner frequencies. Try to find the corner frequencies. What are the corner frequencies? This is your time constant. First corner frequency will be basically based on the value of the time constant. Higher the value of the time constant, lower will be the corner frequency. Let us say if omega, okay, this T1 is a higher value. Okay, if T1 is a higher value, then automatically compared to that of T2 and this particular omega n, okay, for a quadratic factor, your corner frequency will be basically your undamped natural frequency omega n, right? We will see about that later. So if you have different factors and corner frequencies will be available for the terms which are involved with the time constant only. So these 1, 2 and 3, these three terms are involved with time constant, and basically based on the time constant you try to identify the corner frequencies and arrange them in an ascending order. Ascending order in the sense omega c1 should be less than omega c1 should be less than omega c2 should be less than omega c3, etc. It goes on depending upon the number of terms. If you have 3 terms, then this has to be the order. The lowest term will be lowest frequency value should be chosen as omega c1, then omega c2 followed by omega c3. Okay, then try to form this table to identify two things. One is slope and the change in slope. For a particular term, for example, if I am taking this term k divided by j omega, the first term k divided by j omega, there is no corner frequency, but since it is in the denominator omega power is 1, your slope will be minus 20 and change in slope is not going to be there, it is going to be the same slope. If I go to the second term, let us say 1 plus j omega t1, this is the numerator. The corner frequency is what? 1 by t1 is your corner frequency, omega c1. And it is in the numerator part, so it is going to be 20 decibels because the order of the omega is 1, so it is 20 decibels. So change in slope is what? Minus 20 plus 20, which is equal to 0. If I go to the next term, assuming that omega C1 is less than omega C2 less than omega C3, 1 by 1 plus j omega T2, then omega C2 will be equal to 1 by T2, and the angle is and the phase the slope is going to be minus 20. So 0 minus 20, okay, will give me minus 20 decibels. This is how this table has to be found for every term in this transfer function has to be involved in finding out the slope and change in slope. Once you have found all these particular slopes and change in slopes for the given transfer function, then try to identify the magnitude value. The magnitude value is A, okay, the gain at omega, that is A, let us say A is at omega y, is going to be change in slope, consecutive change in slope plus the previous value in the gain. Okay, if you are having a confusion with that, okay, we will see, you will be understanding that when you are dealing with the problem. Okay, first try to understand that, okay, this is the way how to calculate your gain value, and the slope value depends upon the previous table what you have calculated. Okay, and you have to change your omega value. Omega is equal to omega L, omega is equal to omega C1, omega is equal to omega C2, it goes on, and you will have omega is equal to omega H. So if you have 3 corner frequencies available from the transfer function, choose 2 more corner frequencies. One is omega L and the other one is omega H. And omega L should be less than the lowest value available from the transfer function, and omega H should be greater than the highest value available in the transfer function. So this is how, okay, we order that and we try to find the different magnitude value. For every omega value, you will get a magnitude corresponding point. Then you plot it in your graph sheet probably. Right? So this has to be continued until you complete the procedure. What is the procedure? For every point of every factor will, based on every factor, you should have a magnitude value. Right. So this is how your magnitude plot will be plotted. And if you go for a phase plot, your phase plot will be phi is equal to, based on the transfer function, you may have the phase angles in degrees. You may have a phase angle. For example, this particular transfer function given in the problem will have tan inverse of plus tan inverse of square root of 1 plus omega squared t1 squared minus tan inverse of square root of 1 plus omega squared into t2 squared. Okay, then you have a complete transfer function based on your complete angle based on your quadratic term. This quadratic term will be the tan inverse of imaginary by real from the quadratic term. Okay, so this is going to be the equation, and you can see that all this complete equation is in the terms of dependent term of omega. So if you vary different omega, you have to form a table. And the table will have your phi value for different values of omega. So you put omega and phi. So different omega values, you will have to find the phi value in degrees. Okay, then you plot it in your same Sebula graph sheet where you have plotted your magnitude plot. You probably will be able to get both your phase angle plot and the magnitude plot. As you have seen that in the previous diagrams, you can see that you may have, okay, let us say you may have a plot like this. This is your magnitude plot between log omega and your A in decibels. And if you choose the angle phi in degrees, and if you plot it, you may have another smooth curve. If you take lot of omegas, then you will get a smooth curve. So you will have a magnitude plot and a phase plot, and this is going to be a 0 decibel line. And let us say this is 180 degrees. Okay, so this is how your plot will be there. And finally, how to calculate your gain margin and phase margin, that we will try to teach you now. Let us say this is your phase plot. Use different color for a magnitude. Okay, this is your magnitude that is available in A in decibels and phi in degrees, and your x-axis is going to be log omega. For every omega value, you will have a point, and this is your corner frequencies. So what you have to do to find the phase margin? Find the phase margin. What you are going to do? Try to identify the 0 decibel line, the crossing of magnitude in the 0 decibel line. Let me choose a different color. Okay, extend the point. It will try to cut your phase plot at some point. Then try to identify the corresponding phase angle. This particular omega is called as omega GC, the gain crossover frequency, and the particular angle of gain crossover frequency is chosen and substituted in the formula gamma is equal to 180 plus pi GC. For example, I am getting a phi GC as minus 120 degree. Then my gamma is equal to 180 minus 120, which is equal to 60 degrees. So what you are doing, you are trying to see whether my magnitude plot is crossing the 0 decibel line. The corresponding omega value is called as gain crossover frequency, and the corresponding phi value is identified. You extend the same point, see the point where it cuts your omega, your phase plot. This is your phase plot, right? And correspondingly, what is your gain phase angle? Okay, phi GC. Substitute that in the formula. Gamma is equal to 180 plus phi GC. You will get your phase margin. You get your phase margin. Then what to do for a gain margin? What to do for a gain margin? You have the same graph. Let us say this is your 0 decibel line, and this is your magnitude A in decibels, and this is going to be your log omega. Okay, and this is phi in degrees. So let me choose a different color. So this is your magnitude plot, and you have a phase plot like this. Let us assume that you have a phase plot like this. Okay, and you try to identify the line, draw a line from minus 180 degree. It may cut your phase plot. Then extend the point. Extend the point. It will try to cut your magnitude plot corresponding decibel value. If it is positive, then mark it as negative. For example, if my decibel value if my A value is 20, okay, let us say here whatever the point available here is 20, okay, which is positive. Now my gain margin is minus 20 decibels. Minus 20 decibels. If it is in negative side, then take it as positive. That is example, if A is minus 30, then put it like it is 30 decibels. So here the most important point is minus 180 degree. If you remember your polar plot, the same way we should have come across it. where it cuts your minus 180 degree. Okay, what is the magnitude value? Take the inverse of that, and this corresponding omega is called as omega PC, which is your phase crossover frequency. Phase crossover frequency. If both your gain margin and phase margin are positive, then system is stable. If you are unable to see your minus 180 degree cutting out, you cannot say that every transfer function will give some points at minus 180 degree. No, possibly you will not have that also. In that case, you have to say that your gain margin is infinite. Your gain margin is infinite because you cannot find a point as minus 180 degree. So you cannot get a point in phase angle in your phase plot. You cannot extend that point to your magnitude plot. So what we understand that it will not reach that 180 degree. So obviously every time it is going to be inside your stable limit, and it is going to be positive always. So uh, it is going to be infinite. So that's it with your today's lecture. So I will try to give you a small summary for 1 or 2 minutes. Then we will try to wind up the class. And if you have doubts, I will be ready to answer your doubts. Okay. So what is a Bode plot? Bode plot is again a frequency response analysis, a graphical method which is used to identify the frequency domain specifications. This plot has two different plots inside it, magnitude and phase plot. So what will you do? You try to vary your omega and try to get your magnitude and the corresponding change in the phase angle and plot it. And you plot it here in a similar graph sheet where your magnitude plot is between logarithmic omega and the magnitude in decibels, and your phase plot is between logarithmic omega and the phase angle in degrees. So identify the each factors in your transfer function, and for each factors try to identify, try to form the magnitude factor and the phase factor. Try to write two equations. Based on these two equations, you identify different factors and try to find the magnitude with respect to the slopes and its slopes. So you may end up with different points with corresponding with omega change and its corresponding magnitude value. So you will have a plot according to that. If you draw between omega, logarithmic omega, and a in decibels, same way vary your omega value and try to find your phase plot points and mark it in the same diagram. Try to identify your phase margin, phase crossover frequency, gain crossover frequency, and comment about the stability of the system. So this is how we have discussed about every single point involved in it. Okay, single point involved in it. This is regarding your phase, gain margin. So gain margin. Okay, so this is, I'm done with my presentation. If you have a doubt, please ask me at any of this slide. If you have a doubt, please ask me. Otherwise, we will wind up the class, and thank you for joining the class. If you have a doubt, please ask me. I am waiting here to answer your questions. Any doubts? Okay, so we will talk about a problem. We will take a problem in the next class, and we will try to solve that problem. So when you come to the next class tomorrow, I think Pragadishwari, this video will be saved in your drive. So kindly share it to me. As in the previous case, you have to make it. I have like not as a viewer. You have to make it as an editor, and I can download that video. So kindly make that also. Pragadishwari, are you there?